Hello, you're watching Shalom World News. I'm Rudy McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. The United Nations called for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in the Gaza Strip on Tuesday. The 193-member UN General Assembly passed a resolution calling for a ceasefire, with 153 countries voting in favour and 23 abstaining. The Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry said Israel's campaign to drive out Hamas from Gaza has resulted in over 18,000 Palestinian deaths and close to 50,000 injuries since October the 7th. Israel on Tuesday declared 19 of 134 people still in captivity in Gaza dead in absentia after the bodies of 2 hostages were recovered. A Tanzanian national is among the 19 on the list. Hamas fighters killed 1,200 people and took 240 hostages from southern Israel on the 7th of October. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden warned Israel is losing international support over its indiscriminate bombing of Gaza, exposing a new rift in relations with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. As the Synod on Synodality works towards its final session scheduled for October next year, local churches are being asked to consider the synthesis report released in October of this year, urging additional engagement and contributions. In the 4-page text addressed to bishops across the world, Cardinals Mario Grech and Jean-Claude Hollerich emphasised the significance of the experience of the participants in the Synod's first session in last October and highlighted that their testimonies constitute an inalienable portion of the gift they have received. The document also seeks to remind readers that the synodal process must reflect on the forms of missionary commitment to which the Church is called. The Vatican said on Tuesday that a small portion of the deceased's cremated ashes can be kept in a place dear to them. According to a 2016 instruction, ashes should be kept in sacred places, not left at home nor scattered in the wind. While these guidelines remain valid, relatives could also request for a small portion of the ashes of the deceased to be kept in a significant place. Keeping ashes in a holy place, however, ensures that they are not excluded from the prayers and remembrance of the family and prevents the deceased from being forgotten or the remains becoming objects of disrespect. Militants have attacked a police station in northwestern Pakistan, killing 23 officers and wounding 32 others. A suicide bomber detonated a vehicle filled with explosives at the police station's main gate in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, bordering Afghanistan. This was followed by other militants opening fire at the station. All 6 terrorists were killed. A newly formed militant group, Tehreek-e-Jihad Pakistan, has claimed responsibility for the attack. According to the police, the number of officers killed in the incident is likely to rise, as some were critically injured. Following the Taliban's takeover of power in Afghanistan in August in 2021, Pakistan has been experiencing an increase in violence. Various anti-euthanasia advocates are claiming that methods used by the Canadian government and several US states to record assisted suicide deaths are less accountable and are leading to incomplete statistics. This comes after an official governmental response to a civilian who questioned why euthanasia and assisted suicide deaths were not listed among the top 10 official causes of death in the Canadian government's 2022 statistics. The authorities, Statistics Canada, responded that they used the World Health Organization's guidelines for coding such deaths. However, WHO guidelines do not include a coding standard for these deaths. Attorney General Kwame Raoul of Illinois has consented to a permanent injunction that would stop the state from implementing laws that label pro-life speech as misleading advertisements and prosecuting pregnancy resource centres and pro-life organisations. Senate Bill 1909 also covers exposing the risks of abortion as a consumer fraud, with offenders facing forced termination or fines of up to $50,000. The Attorney General and the Thomas More Society jointly requested a permanent injunction, which US District Judge Ian Johnston at the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois is currently reviewing. A report released by the US Government Accountability Office on Tuesday revealed that the Planned Parenthood Federation of America and the International Planned Parenthood Federation received federal funds, including COVID-19 related funding, through cooperative agreements, public health coverage programs and grants Between 2019 and 2021, the organisations received some $148 million in federal grants. Following the release of the report, US Senator for Tennessee Marsha Blackburn criticised the organisations for illegally siphoning over $90 million in federal Paycheck Protection Program funds. The senator also stated that this money was intended by Congress to fund small businesses and not abortions on demand. King Mohammed VI of Morocco has instructed the government to ensure the revision of the country's family code. He said that there is a strong need to review the family code to identify its shortcomings, including the misinterpretation of its provisions. A 2022 survey by Morocco's Association of Moroccan Women for Research and Development, in partnership with the National Council for Human Rights, showed that around 34% of Moroccans want reforms to the country's conservative family laws. Sunni Islam is the state religion of Morocco, and authorities do not legally recognise followers of any other religion. Adam Rabati, who is the president of the Moroccan Christian Union, said that Christians want their marriages recognised in the country. He said they want to be recognised as Moroccan Christian citizens and to enjoy the right to legal marriages according to their religion. La Loma Cemetery in the Caloocan Diocese in the Philippines has donated an area to build a shrine dedicated to the victims of former President Rodrigo Duterte's war on drugs. The initiative was launched by Father Flaviano Villanueva, along with the Bishop of Caloocan, Pablo Virgilio David, who is also the president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines. It intends to help the families of the victims who are unable to afford cemetery taxes. The project aims to preserve in the national memory the victims of the spate of violence that marked the Duterte administration. Human rights groups estimate that around 27,000 were killed during the Philippine drug war launched back in 2016. Villanueva said the memorial will serve as a reminder of the government's systematic killings that should not be allowed to happen again. A Nigerian healthcare worker from Bauchi State has been set free following 18 months of imprisonment for condemning the killing of Deborah Samuel in Sokoto State. Rhoda Jatau was released on bail on Friday after the intervention of the Nigeria Interreligious Council, the Christian Association of Nigeria, and Christian Solidarity Worldwide Nigeria. In May 2022, Jatau was taken into custody by Department of State Services agents after she posted a video in which she denounced the lynching of Deborah Samuel, a Christian college student who had been falsely convicted of blasphemy by radical Islamic groups in Sokoto. Jatau faced charges of inciting contempt of religious creed and cyber-stalking. She had been repeatedly denied bail previously. According to the United Nations and Christian Solidarity International, the previous denial of bail not only limited her freedom, but also called into question the justice and proportionality of the legal actions brought against her. Jesus Revolution producer John Irwin and former YouTube and Netflix executive Kelly Merriman Hoogstraten have raised $75 million to launch a studio with an objective of producing faith-based films and television shows. Dallas Jenkins, who is the producer and director of the hit series The Chosen, will serve as a special advisor and shareholder and produce content for the studio titled Wonder Project. With headquarters in Los Angeles and Austin, Texas, Hoogstraten said Project Wonder seeks to bring hope to the world and tell stories that restore hope in things worth believing in, such as family, community, God, and America. Enoch Burke, who is a secondary school teacher, will remain in prison over Christmas after refusing to comply with a High Court order to stay away from his former workplace, Wilson's Hospital School in Ireland. Burke is appealing his dismissal from the school and claims that he is in prison because of his opposition to transgenderism, and he's also questioning the court order's validity. Burke was jailed for the second time in September for breaching the injunction against him. The court reconvened to see if Burke would obey the order, but he refused to do so. Lawyers representing the school stated that they would reluctantly ask for him to remain in prison. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again next time for more. And do remember, in the meantime, you can always visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.